to lesson 4 in module 3, where we're going to look at doing keyword research, and we're going to do this live. We're going to use a whole bunch of tools to get a really good draft keyword list that we can then optimize as we go forward. So, quick recap. Last session we understood and looked at what the different keyword types are, how they are used in search, and the differences between them. And now we know that, we're in a really good place because we know how to use different match types for our campaigns. Now we're going to look at what keywords do we bid on, what should we actually target. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through several steps of using different tools to build a long list. Once we've got that long list, then in subsequent sessions we're going to trim that list down and we're going to organize it so that we have a really nicely structured campaign. So for now, let's start with tool number 1, our existing campaign. If you are an existing AdWords advertiser and you have a campaign running, then you can use this method. If you've got nothing, clearly you can't do this, but if you have, it's the simplest and easiest way to start. So I'm going to flick into an account now, and the way we do this is we come into the campaign that we're interested in. We could go into individual ad groups, but I'm going to go into keywords, I'm going to details, all, and that will show me all the keywords, all the search terms that my keywords have shown up for. And you can click on download and we can get an Excel CSV of that. Just take a straight Excel CSV. That's all we want, is just a simple list of everything. And we're going to keep all this list together in a spreadsheet as we go through. So if you have this available to you, this would be the ideal starting point. If you haven't, don't worry, we'll go on to the next one and we'll create our spreadsheet from there. So that's all you need to do. Click on download, it will run the report and you'll get a nice spreadsheet. If you haven't already got a campaign in place, then let's start with your brain. If you were a potential buyer for this product, what would you search for? And if you're too close for it, if you are a dentist or you are a lawyer and you know language that a non-technical person would use, ask friends, ask family. Just, ask over a cup of coffee, get a list together of what people would search for. And you might be surprised, just make a list. Sounds crazy, but common sense and talking to people in a natural way is a great way to start a list. I'm going to work this through with an example of a cosmetic dentist in Tampa. So I'm going to start a new spreadsheet. I'm just going to start my list with cosmetic dentist. There you go, and so on. So this list could be really long. I'm just putting a couple in here for demo purposes. Once we've done that, we can go to Google. Google provides us a tool in AdWords that we can use for finding keywords. It's called the Keyword Planner. Now, a word of caution, this is a notoriously unreliable and incomplete tool. It's really pretty, it looks really good, but a lot of the data that it produces is really not very good quality. So we're going to use this as a list tool and no more than that at this stage. You'll see why later. So let's come back into AdWords. I'm going to go into a different AdWords account and I'm going to go into Tools and I'm going to go into Keyword Planner. So how does this work? The way we're going to use this is we're going to use Find New Keywords. So this will allow us to search for keywords. So let's start with one or more, and you can put a whole bunch in here, but I'm going to put in cosmetic dentist. Ignore the landing page and ignore product category. We don't need either of those. For location, we're going to do something very specific here. We're going to put in your location country. Don't put in your actual geographic location, even if you're targeting something local. If you go national, providing the language is broadly consistent across the country, you're going to get a much broader set of terms than if you stayed local. For example, if we look nationally at all the keywords that somebody might use for data for searching for a cosmetic dentist, it's going to be a much bigger data set. In Tampa, Florida, there'll be a subset of that data going on. So if we just take the whole country and we add that and we save that, Stick with English if that's your primary language. We'll stick with Google as the search engine, and we're just going to do, and we're using use the defaults as they are, get ideas, and let it come up with some stuff. Now, when we get these, Google presents us in two ways. We can look at it by ad group, or we can look at it by keyword. Google tries to present you information in a way that's sensible for structuring ad groups. It's kind of helpful, but tends to be a little bit overly simplified for my liking, so I tend not to use it. But it is a good way of flicking through this data quite quickly. So what you see is it's recommended ad group for veneers. In brackets is the number of keywords in there, and this gives you an indication of what they are, and this shows you the search volume. Don't worry about volumes for now, that's not important, we just want a list. So what you can do is, using this, click on one of the ad groups and add individually or the whole lot that you think might be useful to you. And we can put all these in here. Okay, and we can keep going through and doing that. If we think a whole ad group is going to be appropriate, we can put them in from there. It doesn't matter which way you do this. What matters is you get a really good list using all this data here, or using the keyword view, which is up here, which will give you a really long list of individual keywords that we come over here, we've got a list to work with. So at the moment I've got a list of 18 keywords. I'm going to add a couple more in, just for fun. So we've now got a bunch of keywords in here, and I'm going to review forecasts. I'm not bothered about the forecast at this time. All I want to get is my list. So I'm going to go to keyword, and I'm going to download my list. So my purpose at this point is not to quantify this data at all, it's just to get a list. So I can untick that. I want it to come down to Excel CSV format, and I want to download it. So save file. Okay, and I can now open that file. And for ease, what I'm going to do is take this keyword. So keywords are always in the second column. Copy paste them. And I'll put them into my first spreadsheet that I created a moment ago. So I'm now just getting a list. So that's Keyword Planner. That's how we can use it for this purpose. It has other uses as well, but for now, let's use it for this one. We can then also do other things, and you'd be surprised how often using different techniques brings up different keywords. It's a really strange thing in Google, but it does. You would think they will be the same, but they're not. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a search for our term. So I've done a Google search here, cosmetic dentist, Tampa, Florida. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, and we get related keywords. So best cosmetics dentist in Tampa, best dentist in Tampa, Dentist Avila, I imagine, is a competitor. So okay, let's put these into our spreadsheet. Okay, that's that one done. So that's how to use related search, and you can repeat that a dozen times if you want for different but similar related keywords, and just keep following it. Keep clicking on the related searches and see what comes up, and you'll expand your keyword list. We can then use tools like keywordtool.io, which is a really interesting tool, and this gives you several useful searches. So I've got it open here. So if I again do cosmetic dentist, I'm going to search on google.com. Notice I can also do this for YouTube and for Bing on this same tool. You will find we're going to get overlap here. We're going to get, oh, maybe I logged into this earlier. Doesn't like that. Okay. There we go. 328 unique keywords, and you see we've got whole lots of stuff here. Some of them are local, some of them are not local, lots of things that have got places in them, but just to give us a starting point, we can copy all, copy it to clipboard, and we can paste it down here. There we go, that's another long list put together. We could repeat the same for YouTube and for Bing if we wanted to. Free tool. You can get the pro version, it will give you more volume and data, which is coming from Google, but we don't need it. We can also go to places like Wordtracker.com, which is another keyword research tool. It's been around for years, this. Great in the good old days of SEO. Recently revamped. I know the owners and they're good guys, so it's well worth a look. So start your research in this. And it will come up with some stuff. And again, it gives us a sample here. You can get paid versions of this and get more results. Again, copy paste anything from here that we think is interesting into our list. There's also SEMrush. Now SEMrush you need a paid account for. If you do a search on SEMrush, as I've already done for cosmetic dentist, it brings all this data up. It's really cool, really good quality data, but you have to pay for it and it isn't cheap. So if you want to get into SEMrush, you would come to here and come to phrase match keywords and related keywords, and you would export both of those. On the free version, you will only get half a dozen results for each. So it's a good tool, but it's an expensive tool. With what you have already, we can probably get enough without using SEMrush. Similarly, SpyFu. SpyFu is handy because what you can get from it is your competitors' keywords. The way I would consider using SpyFu is to run SpyFu against your competitors, get a 1-month subscription, use it, and then cancel it. And that's a great way to do it because you don't want to pay for this on an ongoing basis and you actually really are doing a sort of high-powered campaign. So if we come to SpyFu, which I have here, and we choose a competitor website, so let's come back here. Who have we got? Scroll up a little bit, let's find an advertiser. Let's copy them. Put them in here. And hit search. Again, like other research tools, this is not 100% accurate. These tools, use them as guidance only. That's all they are. They're guideline tools, but they give you ideas for this purpose. So again, scroll down. We can see it's got 1,1200 paid keywords, so it thinks. On a paid version of this, we can come into here and we can download them. It will here show us the top 5. With a paid account, it will show us all of them. Again, we can export them. So that's SpyFu. There are other tools like Keyword Spy, Longtail Pro for keywords. There's loads and loads. Use your own. This is not a definitive list. This is enough to give you a start to do some good research and build an account. So with that in mind, have a look at those tools, familiarise yourself with them. If you've got another tool of preference, go for that and create yourself a spreadsheet with an initial potential keyword list. That's it for this video. Bye for now.